So I'm going to give you just a couple of silly examples, because why not, of the difference, to the extent that I can make them seem that way, about trivial things, but they do make a difference. And that is all the more true in psychological processes that have to do with holding on. Our bonds to our fellow human beings are all about holding on, and how tightly and how loosely one can manage. Too tightly, people have trouble, but too loosely they do also. There's a sweet spot, and that sweet spot breathes. You have to sometimes tighten up your grip and sometimes loosen it up, whether psychological or physical, but in order to achieve an optimal outcome. That sounds like a mechanistic way of living, which of course it would be if you're thinking to yourself, oh, I must participate in this group of people in an optimal way. Then you're probably like some of our, well, I'm not going to name names about what social media CEOs might be like this, but this is not what we aspire to in any case. And what it really has to do with is flexibility, the ability to breathe psychologically in attunement with others and detect when you might be holding on too tightly, or when your grip might be so loose as to threaten the relationship. That's the thing. I've mentioned before that one of my hobbies is card tricks, card magic. I don't want to spill magic secrets here or anywhere else. That's part of the thing, even though you can find how to do just about any card trick on YouTube and any other kind of magic. But there's one thing that you can do. So here we have some cards, and you can count them. You can count them this way, which is maybe gripping a little too hard. We say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one way of doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. The loose way is 1, 2, 3, 4. Is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Either way, there are only 3 cards. But the loose way works much better than the other way. Another example is banjo playing, and we'll do that. So here's tight as well as I can do it. And here's loose. And it can probably be seen better down here. Here's tight. Here's loose. Your fingers are anchored down. Thumb and fingers move as economically as possible. So those are some little physical examples of the obvious, that in order to learn to do something, the natural tendency is to hold on too tight, to grip too tight. You have to. And it's only by repetition and practice and consciousness of that tendency that one can find a way to make things work better. And that's almost always by loosening the grip. I really learned that in just those two things I demonstrated, because I didn't realize it at first. I was way too tight with all those things. And slowly you learn that, partly by watching the masters do these things, you can see that with some of them, that's all they ever do is play the banjo or mess around with a deck of cards or something like that. And in so doing, though, they've found their way to the best way to do it. And it's always relaxed and looks effortless. And it is at that point. But to extend that abstraction from the concrete into the realm of the mind, and from physical relatedness to emotional and psychic relatedness, the same principle applies. There's an ease and a flexibility with which one can relate that, theoretically anyway, an aspirational goal that will allow everything to be smoother. And of course, we wouldn't be human if that's all we did, but it's something to aspire to when one catches oneself just being too tight. Loosen up, as we say. That's probably not a bad idea. In most cases, there's times when that is a very bad idea. But for the most part, probably if you're having trouble with something, it will be easier if you loosen up, whether that's physical or psychological. That's the message here at the Geek Bus. That's why the slogan is get a grip and then loosen it. You can imagine what that means across a variety of situations, but it's generally pretty good advice, and hopefully you didn't hear it here first at the Geek Bus, but you heard it here.